On to episode 5 of Breaking Bad.
No pressure, no pressure. Just think about it, alright?
There's a few things to talk about here. First off, Jesse's friend Badger is introduced. He's young, dumb, and full of drugs.
Check this out.
Jesus. What the hell are you bringing that for?
Hunting.
Since Badger is always looking to score some meth,
I'm on probation, yo. Gotta prove to the man I'm rehabilitated.
I thought I'd talk about addiction. Addicts can often be confused with people with NPD because being addicted to something makes you more narcissistic, especially when an addict is going through withdrawal from whatever it is they're addicted to.
Ah! Are you out of your mind? I totally would have smoked that!
Usually while they're on it, they're the nicest people in the world. All people who are addicted to something will act very selfishly when it comes to that substance. That's because when you are addicted to something, your body is convinced that you need that substance to live. Addicts might stab their best friend in the back in order to get whatever it is they're addicted to. And they might feel very guilty about doing whatever they need to do to get their drug, but they feel they need that drug even more than what they're doing to get it.
You know, what you're asking is illegal.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
In fact, all narcissists are addicts because all of them are completely addicted to emotional supply. Because they are stuck in survival mode all the time, they're constantly worried that they're going to lose their supply at any time. It's an addiction and the reason narcissists do most of the things that they do. They do not see other people as anything but things that they can manipulate and abuse in order to get their supply. Other people are just a source for the narcissistic drug of choice and nothing more. You will never be seen as a human being from a narcissistic person. This is why they so freely manipulate and abuse others.
You think maybe you could just have said that? He's fine, and then it would have been done.
I don't like the way you're talking to me.
I don't like the way you talk about my private affairs.
Along with supply, narcissists can also be addicted to many mind-altering substances as well. They feel they are entitled to anything they want whenever they want it, and if anyone stands in their way, they are obviously evil people only keeping the narcissist from doing what they want. They will not see it any other way. What they desire at any particular moment, in their minds, is more important than anything else in the world at that moment. And what's important to the narcissist must be important to everyone. And anyone who says otherwise is evil and worthy of punishment. That's how the narcissist will always see it. Being that people with NPD see themselves as the most special person in the world, the things they want, no matter how much it's actually harming a person, they will always rationalize that it's actually good for them and they deserve it.
We can do better.
Don't you fucking think about it!
Hey.
Even if no one else agrees with this. And they should continue using it because making themselves feel better is more important than anything else to a narcissist.
All the stuff I've been through, and you're scared of a little chemotherapy?
Well, let's talk about narcissistic injuries. Because that is essentially all that Walter White feels at Elliot's birthday party. Every time he does get some narcissistic supply, it seems like something else happens to bruise his fragile ego.
So you run the company with Elliot?
Oh, no, that's Gretchen and Elliot.
Yeah, I gravitated toward education. Ah, what university?
And these can be things that aren't anyone else's fault. Like the gift thing at the beginning. Walter got Elliot a sentimental gift instead of an expensive one. But he feels embarrassed by it because he actually can't afford an expensive gift.
God, would you look at that? The invitation said no gifts.
Similarly, Walt seems to hate that Elliot and Gretchen are a lot more successful than him, even though he was the one who sold his portion of the company to them. He still blames them for being more prosperous than him. This is pathological envy and his narcissistic pride causing him to project blame onto his former business partners as if they went off to become successful just to spite him. But they only really treat Walt with empathy and respect until towards the very end of the series.
We're talking about a person who was there early on, but who had virtually nothing to do with the creation of the company and still less to do with growing it into what it is today.
People with narcissistic personality disorder don't have empathy at all. They believe that anyone displaying these qualities, especially empathy, are doing it just to trick people. The narcissist doesn't have any empathy, therefore no one has any empathy.
That is my thought process, Skylar.
This is exactly how narcissistic projection works in this situation. If they don't like something, no one likes that thing. If they want something, everyone must want it. They cannot and will not see others as other people. They can only see them as extensions of the narcissist. This is why they take such great offense when someone shows themselves to be the individual that they are. The narcissist doesn't understand this concept of otherness and won't try to understand. This is also why narcissists see strangers as better supplied than the people they know, because others in the narcissist mind are exactly like the narcissist until proven otherwise. As they get to know people, they become less good supply to the person with NPD as they recognize and then reject the parts about those people that aren't exactly like the perfect person that the narcissist sees themselves to be. This is also why the narcissists are highly offended by other people's happiness, unless the other person's happiness is caused specifically by something the narcissist did for them. You'll notice how Walt reacts to Elliot's happiness at someone else's gift, making Walter feel worthless, and Elliot's happiness from Walter's own gift, giving Walter a full dose of narcissistic supply. And it's like a switch had been flipped in his personality.
Yum good ramen. What Walt and I lived on for 10 months straight. To this day, I am convinced these noodles were responsible for our success. I love it.
For the man who has everything.
But this is crushed again a bit later when Walter realizes this is all a ruse to help Walter pay for his cancer treatment. I mean, how dare they? Don't they realize that Walter White is too good for their pity money? Don't they know he's too perfect to even imply he has cancer? That's how Walter sees it anyway.
What exactly did he say to you?
He offered me a job.
What?
And then when I turned that down, he flat out offered to pay for my treatment.
Okay, what did you say?
What do you think I said?
Actually, this is all something Skylar sets up thinking it's for Walter's own good. To be fair, it kinda is, but Skylar does all this completely behind Walt's back without discussing it with him in any way. She does play it off as something that just came up, but Skylar still had plenty of time to mention it to her husband after this exchange happened. But Skylar sees Walter as breaking away from her control, and she's only trying to get him back under her thumb. She spends this entire episode going behind Walter's back to recruit others to her cause. All narcissists want in this situation, when their own main supply is breaking away from them, is to bring them back under their control. Put them into a box where they don't have any individuality and does whatever the narcissist wants. The narcissist is legitimately confused when things don't work out this way. So Walter gets mad about Skylar trying to manipulate him, and this might also be when Walter begins seeing Skylar as his scapegoat. You see, though anyone can be a scapegoat, if you start doing things that either keep the narcissist from doing what they want, or pointing out their narcissistic abuse, or really anything that counters what the narcissist believes about their perfect mask, then this will basically guarantee that you are that narcissist scapegoat, especially if you are a legitimate person with empathy and the like. As a general rule, the more authentic you are, the more likely it is that the person with NPD will think you are a fake, and making you more likely to be a scapegoat. This is because the narcissist is fake, and real people delegitimize their mask, so they have to devalue that authentic person first. One more thing, and that's that narcissists are terrible communicators. They don't like telling people what they are up to, ever, really. They don't want people to know what they do with their own time, which is kind of odd considering they have to know what everyone else is doing at all times. But if they can go around your back and plan all these things involving you, they absolutely will, without ever consulting you even once. They believe they own you. They will treat you like the property they believe you to be. And to consult you first or treat you like a human being would be to say that you are on the same level of perfection that the narcissist believes themselves to be. So you absolutely can be sure they won't talk to you first about any decision they make for you. If anyone's on the same level as the narcissist, that would imply that the narcissist weren't completely perfect and special, and the narcissist cannot have that. No one can be equal to them in their own minds. In the preceding conversation, you see how Walt is upset, but he's shifting all the blame for this onto Skylar. It's not really about what it is that upset Walt, but the fact that he is upset about it is what Walt is blaming Skylar for. You see, to narcissists, feelings are facts. They never developed a healthy way to process their emotions. And to them, emotions feel like something outside of themselves attacking them. They can't explain what upsets them, only that something outside of themselves is to blame for it. They don't realize that their own emotions aren't anyone else's responsibility. This probably came from having narcissistic parents who wouldn't soothe their children when they were upset as an infant, and in their child's brain they learned that emotions weren't normal to have, so they started projecting them away from themselves. They do not know how to regulate their own emotions. All narcissists can do is blame others for how they feel.
Which is exactly what you expected him to do, didn't you?
Walt.
Didn't you?
No.
Please, come on.
I did not put him up.
Remember that your emotions are your responsibility, that other people's emotions are not your responsibility, and do your best and try not to allow yourself to be moved by the temper tantrums of immature people. But as I keep saying, if someone is being physically violent to you, or you feel your life is in danger, then call the police. In the next montage of meth making, it's Jesse and Badger working together. Except you notice that only Jesse is doing any work while Badger mostly just messes around in the back. If a narcissist can divert the work for a job to someone, then they typically will. Then they will take all the credit for it if things go well, but blame the person they diverted the job to if things go poorly. Narcissists will always have a fall guy, no matter what.
What? What are you... What?
Then Walt's family confronts him about not taking free money to get cancer treatment. But during this, Marie starts playing devil's advocate completely against Skylar's wishes.
I think you should do whatever you want to do.
What?
Actually, there's a lot to unpack here. For one, unless the person with NPD has something to gain, more than likely they'll be disagreeable just for the sake of it, especially when they know it will upset someone. Causing emotional reactions is their ticket to getting supply, and the stronger the emotional reaction, the stronger the supply that they get from it, and the more likely that the narcissist will try to get that reaction whenever they can. Next, Skylar is completely surprised that anyone's opinion could possibly be different from hers. If you've ever lived with a person with a type B personality disorder, you've probably seen similar reactions to Skylar here whenever you yourself had disagreed with them about essentially anything.
Agree with Marie on this one.
Hank?
What? Maybe Walt wants to die like a man, all right?
I don't want him to die at all! That's the whole point of this! So either help or leave!
But to narcissist, everything is a game. And once Hank figures out this game isn't everyone versus Walt, it's his wife versus her sister, he immediately switches sides. Walter's life or death scenario doesn't even show up in his mental radar in this moment. It's only a question of who's going to win the conversation, and to a narcissist, they only want to be on the side that wins. They will stab everyone else in the back left and right in order to win as well. When Walter then discounts everyone else's advice to forge his own path, he essentially wins this conversation.
My entire life, it just seems I never, had a real say about any of it. With this last one, cancer, all I have left is how I choose to approach this.